Jai Hind, this is Brigadier Hemant Mahajan. Welcome you to another session on national security. The subject which we are going to talk today is the 1971 war, in which the armed forces uh, conducted a brilliant operation and Bangladesh was liberated and it became a different country. It was one of the best ever military campaigns launched by the Indian Armed Forces post independence. Today we complete 50 years. 3rd of December 1971 the war started, and on 16 December 1971 the war ended. In this war, in 16 days, Pakistan was cut into two parts and Bangladesh was liberated. It is important that we pay our homages to all those brave soldiers who sacrificed their lives to cut Pakistan into two halves. Thereafter, Pakistan could never compete with India. A separate nation was created. However, it took a lot of preparation, a lot of effort to create Bangladesh. We will talk about how the Indian Army prepared for the war, prepared for the 1971 war. Let us see what was the situation at that point of time. In March 1971, Shri Mujibur Rahman had won the Pakistan elections and he would have formed a government in Pakistan. West Pakistanis did not want East Pakistanis to rule them. So therefore Mujibur Rahman was put in the jail and General Tikka Khan was made the governor of then East Pakistan and told to kill everybody who opposes Pakistan. Over a matter of months, General Tikka Khan killed about 40 lakh East Pakistanis as per the Bangladesh government's record. Out of that, about 30 lakhs were Hindus, and the amount of pain that he inflicted on the East Pakistanis, people in lakhs started migrating to India. In fact, a time reached when the refugees from East Pakistan numbered nearly 1 crore. They put lot of pressure, both economic, ethnic, religious, etc. on India. So therefore, the Indian Prime Minister at that point of time, Mrs. Indira Gandhi, told the then Chief of Army Staff, General Sam Manekshaw, that go for a war and liberate Bangladesh. She wanted it to be done as quickly as possible. The complete political class of that time also was of the same opinion. There were some armchair strategists who were also saying that we should go to war as quickly as possible, because if you don't, then Pakistan will strengthen the East Pakistan garrison. In fact, immediately after the Mujibur Rahman was put in jail to take control of East Pakistan, Pakistan had already moved two additional divisions here, and they had put General Tikka Khan in charge. They arrested all the Bengali officers who were a part of the Pakistani army, and East Pakistan was under the dictatorship of General Tikka Khan. So therefore everybody thought that we should go to war immediately. General Sam Manekshaw was a very competent general, and he logically told everybody that it is not correct to go to war just now for many reasons. Firstly, Pakistan already has 4 divisions there, which means approximately 1 lakh troops. We do not have any troops for carrying out offensive operations against East Pakistan. Also, if we carry out operations against East Pakistan, then Pakistan will also attack on the West Pakistan front, that is our states of Jammu and Kashmir and of course Punjab, Rajasthan, etc. And he was right. Famous battles were fought in Jammu, that is Battle of Basantar, Battle of Longewala, etc. So we had to strengthen our defenses at that point on the Western front. No nation is ever ready to go to war immediately, simply because economically you cannot afford it. Our tanks had to be repaired, our weapons had to be repaired, we had to build up ammunition, and most important was that in the month of April, the monsoons used to start in northeast as well as in then East Pakistan. During the monsoons, it is virtually impossible to carry out any military campaign in that area. So therefore, it was important that you go for war after the monsoons was ended. As far as the offensive troops are concerned, where could you get the offensive troops from? They could only come from the Chinese border. In the month of November, heavy snowfall started. Therefore, the passes used to get closed, and it was not possible for China to carry out any meaningful military operations against India on the Chinese and India border. So therefore, operations post monsoon, operations post November was the best option available, and this is what General Manekshaw told Srimati Indira Gandhi. She was quite angry because of pressure that was being put on her, and there were some people who said, no, if Manekshaw can't do it, tell somebody else to do it. And especially some paramilitary forces, etc., were very keen to show as to what they could do. Manekshaw stood firm. He said, no, if you think I am not competent, please sack me and find somebody who will fight the war. Mrs. Indira Gandhi understood, so therefore she gave a complete free hand to General Sam Manekshaw, and preparations for the war started. What did it mean? It meant building up roads and various infrastructure on the Bangladesh border. It meant planning for the battle. It meant moving troops slowly from the Chinese border onto the Bengal border. It also meant gearing up your ammunition production, maintaining your maintenance of your weapon, ensuring that 100% of your weapons are ready for the war. Also getting in more number of officers who were spread out all over India, getting them to the fighting formation, increasing recruitment so that your deficiency in the armed forces, which at any point of time is 10 to 15%, is immediately made up. All these steps were taken. They take time, and this is exactly how well the Indian Army and the armed forces were prepared at that point of time. General Manekshaw was a very charismatic commander. He also took with him the other two chiefs, that is the Naval Chief General Admiral Nanda and the Air Force Chief Air Marshal Lal. So therefore, it was a very well planned, jointly conducted operation. He also ensured that the morale and the motivation of the troops was increased so that they could fight the battle well. Offensive plans were made. He posted some very offensive operations to the field formations, especially people like General Sagat Singh, who were responsible for the 4-4 operations, and complete preparations was made for the war. Now, what was the situation at that point of time? The situation was that approximately 4 divisions of Pakistani army was present in Pakistan, and they had a lot of paramilitary forces, especially Razakars and all, and they were occupying the Indo-Pakistan, East Pakistan border, because they wanted to ensure that India should not capture any area of East Pakistan and form a government of Mujibur Rahman there. So they moved their complete army to guard their area. Indian armed forces, in order to deceive them, started carrying out what is called in the military parlance as the preliminary operations, in which various formations of Indian army were told to capture certain important border outposts, to capture certain important areas which will help us to carry our offensive in a better manner when the war actually begins. So this preliminary operation, though it is called preliminary, lasted over 2.5 months, and a lot of area was captured. But the most important part was that the Pakistani army and the Pakistani generals thought that India is only interested in capturing certain border areas. So therefore, they got all their available people to guard the borders, and therefore the areas in the depth were weakly held, because they also had very less troops to guard the complete area. Indian Army had approximately 7 divisions there, which were mostly brought from the Chinese border. Some troops which were involved in carrying out insurgency operations were also got there. Four separate four corps were made. They were the corps which actually carried out offensive operations was four corps commanded by a outstanding soldier called General Sagat Singh, two corps commanded by General Raina. In addition to that, we had the 101 area which was also responsible. Also, in the meantime, Pakistan had disbanded all the East Bengal regiments, units which were there in the Pakistani army. We made a full use of these people, and a force was created which was called as Mukti Bahini. Mukti Bahini was basically those East Bengal regiment soldiers who were formed into various teams and sub teams. They proved very useful later, because they guided our troops as far as map reading was concerned. They did provide a lot of intelligence as to what exactly was the state of Pakistani army there. They also helped you for carrying out your logistics, especially ammunition, etc. The Mukti Bahini did a good job. The Mukti Bahini, various battalions, various brigades were commanded by Indian Army officers, more of it some other time, and it was a reasonable force which did create a lot of problems for Pakistan, because Pakistan was always scared that their lines of communications will get cut and they will get isolated. So they spent a fair amount of effort in guarding their lines of communication. So it resulted in ensuring that Pakistan Army's deployment was either on the borders or was guarding the lines of communication, and the depth areas, especially around Dhaka, which is the capital of Bangladesh, was very weakly held. When at a point of time, General Tikka Khan was sacked, and General Niazi became the main commander of the Pakistani army in East Pakistan. The concept that he followed was that he used what is called as the strong point concept, which means he deployed the Pakistani army on the important cities of Jessore, Khulna, etc., Dhaka, etc., so that Indian army had to clear them if they wanted to reach Dhaka, which was the capital of East Pakistan. Well, how Indian army outmaneuvered them, we will talk about in the next part. But at this part, it is also important to know that there were barely two squadrons of the Pakistani Air Force available in East Pakistan. It was neutralized in 3-4 days only by the Indian Air Force. We also ensured that the East Pakistani coastline, that is the Bangladesh coastline, was blocked by the Indian Navy. Even an amphibious operation was planned at Cox's Bazar, which took place in the last phase of the operation. So therefore, Pakistani army had no chance to escape from the coastline. They could not escape by air, because the air force assets of theirs had been neutralized in the early part of the war, and also some of them who wanted to escape toward the Myanmar side. If you see the map of Bangladesh, you will find that it shares border with Myanmar. Now that place also was blocked by what is called as the SFF force, Special Frontier Force. We have talked about it earlier. This is a force consisting of the Tibetans who will be used against China when the time comes. They are excellent commandos, officered by the Indian Army. So they were put in the Chittagong hills so that they blocked the area from there, and there was no question of Pakistani army escaping from East Pakistan towards the Myanmar side. So therefore, an excellent plan was made, excellent tactics were used, and by end of November, the armed forces were completely ready for a war. General Sam Manekshaw was sitting with his Director Military Operations, General Gill, in the operation rooms when the news came on third evening that Pakistani Air Force had carried out a preemptive strike on the Western Front. So it was Pakistan who started the war, but since we were prepared for it, Pakistani Air Force could not cause any damage there. So General Sam Manekshaw wanted to start the war immediately, but the defense minister was not present in Delhi. Mrs. Indira Gandhi, the Prime Minister, was not present. General Sam Manekshaw on his own took a decision and decided to go for a war, and orders were passed accordingly. Later Mrs. Indira Gandhi returned the same night, and of course the war physically movement of troops had already started, and the attack started on the 4th of morning. So I think I will stop here, and what I have explained to you now as to how General Sam Manekshaw and his generals made an excellent plan for splitting Pakistan into two parts, how the preparations was made, how the morale was raised, how the planning was done, and how well prepared we were to fight the war. And he proved those armchair strategists wrong who had said that if you start the war late, we are going to have a tough time. General Manekshaw was an outstanding general. He had an outstanding DMO, as he was called in those days, Major General Inder Gill. He was there, and there were outstanding field commanders such as General Sagat Singh, General Raina, etc. General Clare. We will talk about them in our next part. The Eastern Army consisted of the Army Commander General Jagjit Singh Arora, who became world famous because he is the one who taken the surrender of the Pakistani army in Bangladesh. Then there was the Chief of Staff General Jacob, who was also an outstanding officer. All said and done, it was the Indian army almost out-generaled the Pakistani army in Bangladesh. We also guarded our western borders well. We also ensured that some very bloody battles were fought in Longewala, in Basantar, etc. And Pakistani designs of putting us on the back foot was stopped there, but more of it in the next part. I will stop here. If you have liked the video, try and share it with as many people as possible. And in the next part, we will talk about those heroes of war, especially the Paramveer Chakra winners like Major Hoshiar Singh in the Battle of Basantar, Lieutenant Arun Khetrapal in the Battle of Basantar, then the Battle of Longewala, which was immortalized by a movie called Border. We will talk about all these heroes, and we'll also talk about how the war was conducted in later part from 4th of December up to 16th of December, when the final surrender took place. I will stop here. Thanks a lot for watching, and do share it with as many people as possible. Jai Hind.